Oh, yeah, I fell to the bottom of the bag, so I have no idea what to name them.
Thank you. Fruit snacks. I'm actually really got low blood sugar going on here, so
There you go.
I have to eat fruit snacks.
Hey, daughter.
Right. Very popular in the 70s. Well, it's everybody saying.
I'm not good.
No, I was kidding about the single.
I'm like,
You don't
up
like
against
me.
this.
I don't know that well.
That's cool. Michael's doing all of it. Oh, is he just
But I won't-
remotely?
No.
Fruit snacks? No, maybe it's Starburst. Just Starburst. Hi, Leslie. Oh, she's cool too. All right. Do you have a favorite Starburst flavor? Pink.
Does anybody want a yellow one? Who was I talking to? You got lucky.
I know, pink and red. That's like,
Yeah. Holly and who found it? I don't remember. They were like yellow. They said the thing about don't treat yourself like a yellow starburst. What does that mean? Thank you. Starburst. Yeah. Or she treats me like a yellow. I don't either. I like them. I don't love them orange.
Can I have one?
Starburst? Yeah. Fruit snack.
Now I know where I stand.
Alright, well, restart. Oh, Starburst, yeah, mine too.
Oh, look. Did you get the one that? No.
Oh,
Today.
okay. When I started getting ready for my garage sale,
You have a lot of grass around?
oh, it's bad. Dust in the garage.
No,
Yeah.
no. My sinuses hurt really bad.
Oh, goodness. What's that?
What is that noise?
I was thinking the same thing.
So look what I got. I got a red.
Ooh. Can you mute that?
No, Michael has it. He's controlling us.
Oh, did you guys hear that?
Oh, yeah, we're on.
That was like 15 seconds delayed.
Can you mute us? Your face like.
You guys. That was
What am I saying? Who is that talking?
Me, it's
He needs to mute it.
Oh, you can.
I thought, no, isn't Michael controlling it? This is just. Oh, what did I just do?
Should have been Zoom on there.
He needs to mute it. Somebody might control it. This is just.
Here. Edward, here. Thurston, here. Hillary.
Here. Asking for approval of the agenda for today's meeting. There's the first and there's the second, all of those in favor. Opposed? Passes. So to start off the meeting, I'd like to invite Nikki Rodriguez to give out the principal's recognition of them. Good evening.
Good evening. Thank you for being in Greenville. Thank you for being here. We have our teacher feature, Mrs. Dalton. Can you come up here with me, please? Are we doing teacher feature first? Principal's recognition first. This stage. Okay. Maybe Mrs. Kingdon can come up first and we'll do our
Because I don't know.
junior high.
Oh, you are.
Where do you want me to stand? Well, where am I standing?
We
Am I
are
facing you guys?
presenting to the
Or
board.
the, okay.
Yeah.
I feel weird my back turned to you, so I'm gonna turn to everybody. So this is Peyton Mitchell, and thank you. Peyton was chosen for the Principal's Recognition Award because she's very self-motivated. And she works really hard to keep her grades up, and if she gets something back and she doesn't like a grade on it, then she wants to either do extra work or do corrections. She wants it even better. And so I really appreciate that she strives for better and better and better throughout the school year. Let's see, she's an amazing instrumentalist. I don't know how many instruments she knows how to play. A lot, but from someone who doesn't know how to play one, it's pretty impressive to watch. And I've been in the band room when Miss Brown was out, and I'm trying to be like, okay, ready, and she's like, let me help you out. And she has gotten up and led a class with band, and they totally respect her and see her talent. And so they responded to her just amazingly, and so that was super cool to see. Let's see, she helps Miss Dolphin at the breakfast cafe, and I know she's helped me with the Halloween carnival, so I just feel like anything that we have going on at this school, she's involved in, and she wants to be here, and she wants to be helpful. And with that, she's really great at making connections with people, and just an overall amazing young citizen. So I'm super proud of you. We're all proud of you. Congratulations.
Just to add, as we've been cleaning out and doing some things, we found our school song that I think originated maybe when Kest Porter was here. And so she is learning that on the piano for us, so it can be part of our monthly assemblies as we teach the students our school song. So she's taken that on, and we're excited to start that tradition back up. So thank you, Kate. Hey, Mrs. Dolphin, would you like to come up and take
I've known Jacob for a long time, since he was in elementary school, his family, his sister went to school here, he's got a little brother now. Anyway, Jacob and I get along pretty well. Sometimes we don't, right? Sometimes. But anyway, he's a prankster and a jokester, and those are some of the things that happen when we're in class, and we're not sure if he's telling me the truth sometimes or whatever. But on the whole, he's willing to help me out with anything. Earlier this year, when he came to school, he wanted to take culinary right off the bat, but I asked him, I said, look, Miss Brown really needs you in band this year. I said, you can come in culinary and help cook and do anything, anytime you want, but please at least help her out, because you're one of the stable ones there that have been there for a long time and they need you. And he goes, okay. So at Christmas, you probably saw him back there on the, the percussion. He was back there a lot helping her.
And once it was over, he said, now can I come back? And we said, yes. She just needed him to help get the band going and to get some other kids trained. So I really wanted to thank Jacob for giving up his time that he wanted to spend with me. Anyway, but what he did do, he helped with, we brought back our Make and Bacon Cafe because so many community members last year asked for it and I couldn't get it together, but this year I went, you know what? Might as well, it's our last year here, we're gonna do it. So anyway, he's our chef. And so he's here at 6 in the morning, getting everything ready. We prep as much as we can. We're running a mini menu right now because of not being able to have as many kids come. And Peyton is one of them who comes, I have 7th, 8th grade girls that come and help out. And so we're gonna be doing a little field trip with them producing the kids. So I wanted to really tell Jacob, thank you. I appreciate what he does. Today he was helping out getting the meal done for you tonight. And he goes and gets ice for me. He's just there for everything. He's an all-around student. Sometimes he gets a little behind on his apex. Sometimes I have to give him a little kick in the behind to get it going, but he does. And he also loves sports, especially basketball. He played football this year, did a really fine job. He, played and they made it to some playoffs. Not football. It was for basketball, sorry. So basketball is his #1. So they did make it to playoffs.
Not very far after that, though.
And now he's doing AAU because he likes it so much. So he's an all-around student. He's got his whole next year ahead of him. He's getting a little ahead on some of his apex work. So he's doing fine because that's not the easiest thing for all of us here this year, but we're making the best of it. And he's been a great student in the middle of the mix.
I can add, I agree with everything that Mrs. Dolphin has said. He, at the beginning of the year, we were trying to get our garden up and running and he knew exactly what to do. He got his hands dirty. He helped us mow a bunch of weeds. Anytime I need help, I know who to go to. So thank you for always being so helpful, even with students in the classroom. He's a big buddy to some of our students in 3rd and 4th grade. So
Thank you.
Turn that around. Thank you.
hey, but the dolphin has to stay up here. So for our teacher feature, we chose Mrs. Dolphin, not only as our culinary teacher, but she has taken on our Apex teacher for all grade levels and for all students. And so we are really thankful for her. I wrote a little something. And some of us that have worked with her also would like to come up and say a little something as well. We are saddened and honored tonight to feature our culinary arts teacher, Judy Dolphin. Not only is she our culinary arts teacher this year, but she has also taken on as our Apex teacher for all students in all grade levels. We are saddened because this will be her last year at Greenville High School. It has been such an honor to have worked with Judy this year. She has been the heart of the school for our student, staff, and community. She has guided our seniors through their senior project and has set them for success as they enter the world after high school. She will always be remembered as the cheerleader of Greenville High School. Ms. Johnson, Ms. Mark, I know a bunch of us have wanted to say a little something about Mrs. Dolphin as well.
My name is Maria Johnson and I'm the 1st grade teacher here at Greenville Elementary School. It is with such gratitude that I talk about Judy Dolphin, our culinary arts teacher, senior project advisor, union representative, colleague, and friend. Judy wears many hats and is the heart of our school and community. Judy was all 3 of my children's culinary arts teachers. Both of my daughters learned so much about food service that they were able to work their way through college using it. Everything that Judy does, she does to the best of her ability, putting in long hours after and before work to ensure that everything gets done. Her Make and Bacon Cafe has been consistently the best breakfast in town. Judy takes our students to many out-of-town venues, exposing them to events and places that they would never be able to experience without her. She has truly made a difference in the lives of our students and community. Personally, Judy has been my mentor and friend. When we worked at GHS together, we shared many lunches and talks. As co-PCTA representatives, we have had to work on many issues together. She is always a kind voice of reason. Judy is a trusted friend whom I love very much. Know how much you love my all.
So Judy is not only a wonderful teacher, she was also an amazing cheer coach. So amazing and just wonderful to be around all this. I had her for 4 years in high school. She not only taught us cheer, she watched over us, she protected us, and she worked to always make sure we were having fun and supplied with zebra cakes. So I'm gonna miss you so much. I don't know.
Thank you.
Do you have anything you would like to share about your culinary background?
Well, before she does that, I think the board might, at least somebody from the board might want to say something.
I wonder who.
Known you as a culinary teacher, and of course, cheer coach, and a lot of people here don't know this, but sometimes when you're coaching football and it's 9 o'clock at night, 10 o'clock at night, especially when you're on the road, our coaching staff and some of our kids could always count on one thing from Judy Dalton more than anything else, besides, words of wisdom and good cheer and kind words and all of that kind of stuff. Zebra cakes. And it's funny, it's just, really gross snack food, but those football players. You disagree with me? But the football players thought it was like they were getting bold, and maybe some of the coaches too. And while that's merely a symbol of who she is, what I mean by that, she's giving, she's generous, she's kind. When I think of Greenville High School, in fact, when I think of the community of Greenville and Indian Valley, I think of Judy Dalton before I think of anybody. And what a blessing it is that 16 years ago that I had the chance to meet you and even better than that, experience you as the cheer coach. And I was regarded you and your cheerleaders as part of the football program. And I don't think people say thank you enough, and I know I have, but I still want to say it anyway. Thank you for everything you've done for the school and the community.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You all know, Greenville's my heart. Born and raised, grandmother, original teacher. All of our families, a lot of your families all went through school here. And tonight I actually picked, my mom painted this for me, a few years back. And she's passed on, she did a lot of, so tonight I thought I'd wear this to honor being a Greenville Indian. And I found these little pins digging through junk a couple weeks ago, which that box kind of moves around everywhere. But I truly love doing what I do. Taking my kids to competitions, working with the cheerleaders. I didn't even want to do it when they approached me. I go, no, there's so much drama. So much drama. And then after the first year, it basically settled down and we had a good crew. I don't think we had any problems. A couple little things or something like that. Remember one time they were mad at me because I made them wear plastic bags down in Las Molinas because it was pouring raining and I didn't want them to get cold. I go, I don't care, you're wearing these anyway. And that's when the boys were sliding through the football field, on their bellies. I have a lot of good memories. In fact, dating me, but I had to have a prom in this building because once this building was built, they wouldn't let us have it in the old gym anymore. They said, oh no, all dances now are in here. So I have a lot of good memories from high school, from teaching, from coaching. just being a green Y. Thank you.
Thank you.
No, she is at a softball tournament.
Okay.
Sorry.
Is there anything you want to say on her behalf at all? Or?
Well, we started writing her house. No, she just had, you know, the things that we're doing, and she mentioned the culinary breakfast back again, and, one thing we did for the breakfast, she had down, got it started, but, at Christmas, we decided that we would do our one breakfast for the food pantry. So all you had to do is bring in canned goods for your breakfast. So we collected about 87 cans or packages of things, plus about $160 some. And so we turned that all over to the food pantry. I hope to do something with the Boost Our Moms before it's all over, collect for them so they can send stuff to our boys. That's something that the community really likes, and they have supported me all these years too of coming to breakfast. And, you know, with that money that we've earned, we've been able to do a lot of extra things that other schools haven't, because I've had such good kids that have always come. I appreciate all their hard work that they've done for me, because without them, I couldn't have done it. So we've been a team, and I thank you.
Thank you. Now is the time and place for public input, for folks who haven't participated in public input before or haven't been to a meeting. There's a few guidelines. One is that the board is not permitted to respond. The board cannot discuss in public things that have not been itemized on the board agenda. So we're not, if you come up here and say something expecting a response, we're not ignoring it. We're not permitted to respond. Sometimes staff will refer you to somebody if you need assistance with something. Also, there's a speaker time limit of 3 minutes. And it will be monitored, and there's a limit of 20 minutes per topic. Of course, if you want to talk about Judy Dolphin, I might for more than 20 minutes, I might the other way. And I would also respectfully request that if you do want to speak and you have not yet turned in a public comment slip, there are some blanks here along with a pen. And I, again, would respectfully ask that you fill those out and submit them. It just makes for things to be more orderly. So that being said, I'd like to invite Linda Batson up here.
I'm just speaking from here, right? I don't have.
Yeah, just speak loudly.
Okay. I'm Linda Batson, and I'm coming today about school libraries. I speak as a former elementary school teacher, 30 years for PUSD myself, and just as importantly as a U.S. citizen, when I point out the importance of school libraries. I realize that times change and economic circumstances change, but libraries, especially high school libraries, are very critical for well-informed and thoughtful citizens. And the library, by that I mean not only the books, but the services and the informational opportunities that libraries offer. And I have been told that Greenville and Chester High Schools do not have operating limited. In fact, I have my fingerprint test to possibly be a volunteer at any PUSD library. I haven't done that yet, but I'm concerned about all Plumas County schools and the future of libraries. But tonight I have a question, especially about Greenville High School. Like Judy, I graduated from Greenville High School. And my question is that I realize Plumas Charter School will be leasing the facilities and operating on this campus My question is about the books in the library here at the high school. And I'm really concerned that Greenville high school students or charter school students, whatever, high school age students have a library. And I realize you can't answer this, but will those books stay here in this library? Or since they belong to PUSD, will they be gone and a new library will have to be constructed?
So, part of the lease agreements, library. All the books are staying in the library, as well as all the history of the school. And that's an agreement we've reached, and we'll talk a little more about that in about half an hour.
Okay, well, that's a great news to me.
Everything will be there.
Yeah, but anyway, so please consider the importance of all the high school libraries, elementary and high school for the students of that. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Carol Hudson.
Thank you. Mr. Roderick commented last time I was here, I didn't use this and I kind of bumbled my words and I probably said some things that were not all that good. So this time I came a little bit more prepared. And Christy, 2 minutes and 48 seconds is what I did on this. First, I would like to actually address Christy. Would like to say a few words about Christy Warren as she goes. In my 19 years of teaching here in this district, I've taught for 35 years, but 19 in this district. I've worked with Christy in the following capacities. She has been my principal for a time at Portola High School. She was for a time my alternative education administrator. She hired me for teaching summer school, 1 or 2 summers, I don't quite remember. She was the one who approved me to be the alt ed curricular lead. And now as president, I've worked with her regarding various union issues and on the negotiating team as well. In fact, when I was thinking about becoming president, I actually called her up. Didn't call anybody, called her up. And I told her that I was a little bit intimidated by the fact that our relationship would be changing with me as president. And she smiled and laughed and she assured me that things would work out fine and we would be able to work together well. So Christy, personal note, I will miss you personally and wish you the best as you go. Second, I come to you as the president of PCTA. My job is tasked with representing my teachers, but also working with Bill with those. And I've over and over heard teachers say, I want this to be viewed. I want this to be spoken before the board. There are 2 big issues, and I'm happy to report money is not one of those 2. So that is good, okay? It's number 3, but not number 2 or 1. The first issue is time and stress. Our job in Plumas County, especially after COVID, has become so much more difficult and complex than ever before. I actually personally feel that I have a right to say that because I've been in this profession for 35 years and I have seen over and over again that this job of teaching kids has become more difficult, more complex, more emotionally and more physically demanding, while at the same time being less personally rewarding. At a recent PCTA meeting, one of my reps actually said that her teachers had come to her. I asked my reps to tell what's on the minds of teachers. She said that they actually came to her and they were in tears with how much pressure and how many demands that they felt were being placed upon them from multiple directions.
Carol, 45 seconds.
Oh, my goodness. Second issue, safety and support. For various reasons, our students seem to be more out of control and more unpredictable than ever before. Many teachers feel that they are tasked with keeping their students safe while at the same time feeling personally in danger at the same time. They feel a need for more administrative support for their classrooms while at the same time desire stronger penalties for students who have engaged in extreme activities. I am thankful for Mr. Roderick that he has and continues to work on these issues. And I'm sorry to be so dismal and pessimistic, and I will continue to work with him to figure out these answers. Thank you very much.
Thanks. Anyone else? you very much. Student achievement, Christy Barnes is going to discuss that.
Sure. Thank you this evening. We have 3 topics for you tonight. All 3 of them have attachments if you've had a chance to review those. We'll go ahead and start with the state seal of biliteracy. So the state of California has given the standards for the state seal of biliteracy. Tonight, we would just like to formalize the process and the recognition at our graduation ceremonies. So this award has been given out for the past couple of years, but through the request of our counselors, so that students at graduation would wear an honor cord, signifying proficiency in more than one language. So that is the state seal of proficiency for you this evening, and we're looking for approval of that this evening.
A second.
There's a first and a second. All of those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Motion passes.
Our second item tonight is our foundational skills curriculum, and I'm going to invite Camille Klemek up to speak with me today. Camille Klemek is our literacy coach for Columbus Unified School District, serving our CLSD grant, and also truly an early literacy expert. And so you have facilitated a process over the last 6 months that has led us to a point of a new foundational skills curriculum. She's going to speak a little bit about what that is, the process, and next steps.
Thank you, Christy. So yeah, I want to share out what our early foundational skills team has done. I'll start by saying foundational skills are only one part of teaching reading effectively. Teaching reading is a really complex thing, and learning to read is a really complex process. And so we're making a huge effort here in our district, and foundational skills, much like the foundation of a home, is a great place to start. You need to start building somewhere, and something needs to be strong at the bottom. So we formed a team at the beginning of the school year, and it was myself, Kevin Cooper, principal at Pioneer, Kelly Bainbridge, first grade teacher at Chester Elementary, Nicole Crowther, first grade teacher at Pioneer, Piper Tracy, third grade teacher at Alder, and Colleen Griffin, who teaches intervention at CRC, and Melissa Carlson, who teaches at CRC. And we started in curricular teams discussing if anyone was willing to pilot a foundational skills program. 3 people volunteered, and we tried 3 different things. And so they taught it. And we all came together on February 18th to review the different programs. We came up with what we were looking for in a program. And those things were, is it evidence and research based? Is it effective as a tier 1 instructional program, meaning teaching a whole class? And could it be used for a small group pull out also? And then how easy would it be for a new teacher, either to teaching reading or a brand new teacher to pick it up and learn about it while they were using it and still be effective with it? And so to do the first part, to figure out if it was evidence and research based, we actually tapped into a tool put out by the Reading League. They're a national organization that works on their mission statement is to advance the awareness, understanding, and use of evidence-aligned reading instruction. And they were seeing a lot of programs getting really excited about the term science of reading and just slapping it on and saying, this is the science of reading, which again, the science of reading is like all of the research and evidence that supports how we learn to read and how we can effectively teach it. And so there isn't really any governing body over that term. And so they came up with a tool called the Curriculum Evaluation Guidelines, and you can use it to evaluate a comprehensive English and language arts curriculum. We used it for the foundational skills portion because, again, we're taking a baby step and have to start somewhere. Not only does the tool look for effective teaching measures, but it also looks for red flags of like debunked teaching practices, ones we know don't work. And so we went through all 3 curriculums and they all passed with flying colors. And so then the next step was looking at how easy it was for each of the teachers to implement what they were doing and whether or not it would be easy for, the brand new teacher to do it. So we came up with the recommendation of the UFly Foundations program. And it is outlined in our recommendation. In addition to our program, we also can't emphasize enough how important teacher training is to go hand in hand with implementing a program. This year we had 64% of our teachers who were in K-3 enroll in an introductory science of reading course. And surprisingly, learning how to teach reading is not something you learn while you're in a credentialed program. They let you figure it out when you get into a classroom. So in order for our district to meet our high five of increasing our third grade reading proficiency, we also recommend that all K-3 teachers get some sort of training in the science of reading. And then if you look at our implementation plan, eventually we expand that to all elementary teachers. And much like it takes a village to raise a child, it also takes a village and a community amongst a school to get proficient readers. And so in that recommendation is also providing training for paraeducators, administrators, helping parents understand how and why their kids are learning to read the way they are. In addition to the program and to professional development, we would eventually like to also adopt an assessment system for progress monitoring. That's how you drive your instruction and know exactly what student needs what. And to loop back around, as the foundational skills are only half of skilled reading, the other half is language comprehension. And so the state is going to be approving their curriculums here in a couple of years, and we would also recommend that teachers begin embracing and learning about the comprehension piece of teaching reading also, so that in the long run, by the time we're ready to adopt a comprehensive English language arts curriculum, we are ready to just jump right in with it. Thank you for your time.
Thank you to Camille and really leading that team. Questions?
Yeah, so did the team look at like other school districts, other educational
Of the programs that we were looking at, or just in general?
programs you were looking at?
Yes, the one that we're recommending has been implemented all across the United States. It's developed by the University of UFLI stands for University of Florida Literacy Institute, and it was created by the professors there and then also teachers. It actually kind of came out of the pandemic, and so it has, you know, an online component. It also has a teacher's manual, and then because of that, I think it kind of went viral. They have also, University of Florida has also had third-party research done on the effectiveness of the program. But if you look at schools and sites and districts who are using it, again, it has to do with if it's being implemented well and with fidelity, the results are pretty impressive for foundational skills. Yeah.
And so that 64% you said took it, they were all, what was the result of their approval of this path that you're taking?
It's actually really exciting for me. I started doing my own learning in the science of reading about 6 years ago. And so many of those teachers have come to me and said, what next? What can I learn next? It's the kind of experience as a teacher you have that is just mind-blowing, because you're trying to teach your kindergartners how to read and they are not learning how to read and you don't know why. You just got out of your teacher credential program and then all of a sudden you're like, oh, this is what I need to be doing, and how come I didn't learn this? And so yeah, there's a lot of excitement amongst K-3 teachers, if not even all elementary teachers right now.
Feel it was a time commitment on their side. It was worth the time that they put into it.
Yes, and I have been asking them because I'm curious too, because I mean, I know it's my passion. Like, how does the average teacher perceive this as a time investment? Cool. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm not. So we have Maria here, who's one of our first grade teachers. Who I think, do you have anything you'd like to add?
Sorry, I didn't mean to put her on the spot. We've been piloting it at Greenville Elementary School and she has just gone with it. She'll call me at 5 in the morning and tell me about what she's learned and how excited she is. So I just thought this is a great opportunity.
So what I'll say is actually Christy, who I talked to in December. And she kind of got me thinking about stuff. And so I listened to this podcast that she told me about, and then I just kind of took off, and I've committed to like an hour to 2 a day of professional development just myself. But it's just, it was like all of the things that I would go, I can't do this. I'm not a good teacher. This is not working. The science of reading gave me an answer to why. And so it's amazing.
Great to hear, Maria. And the podcast she's referring to, if you are interested in the topic, is called Sold a Story. It's about 6 hours long. So
I'm making it into a Canvas course.
Yeah, you are.
Sold
Sold a story, and you'll, if you've been in our district a while, you'll hear about some practices that we have used previously that are no longer what we would call evidence-based, about how kids have learned to read. And it's just very enlightening. So yeah, and so if you have further questions or without, we are seeking your approval for the K-3 foundational skills curriculum, which we'd like to implement and train on beginning, well, at ASAP in the summer.
I'll second.
There's a first and a second, all of those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passed.
Thank you.
And what about the anti-bias grant and contract for services?
Great. Your third item from me tonight is the anti-bias grant. So you're going to see this under your contracts as well. You'll, if you choose, officially approve that then. But I wanted to put it as an item here as well, just as a chance if you had any questions about that. This is part of our $150,000 grant from CDE for anti-bias work. There are 5 kind of pillars of the grant that we have to hit, including policy review, curriculum, professional development, training, and student-led initiatives. So I did reach out to WestEd a couple months ago to work on this plan. I've met with them several times on implementation and what this will look like over the next 3 years. We have been working on this topic with our administrators over the last 2 years. And so this really takes us to the next level. And WestEd is a very reputable organization. They will also come and do presentations for you as well. So we have some outside expertise guiding us in this work as well. So I would recommend to approve the contract when you get there. But I wonder if you have any questions about the plan.
Yeah, you mentioned what it will look like, on the ground. What does it look like?
Yeah, so it does lay out that 3-year plan with kind of the 5 different areas. And so it really starts with the systemic equity review, which WestEd would begin really immediately or at the beginning of April. They would look at our data and our test scores, really kind of a 30,000 foot level, and help us kind of see maybe things differently and some work we need to do. We'll also share with them the survey results that we've done. We did a student survey in December, really focused on equity and the perceptions of students on this topic in our classrooms. So they'll use that. They'll do some focus groups. Some will be on Zoom online. They'll also establish a DEIB, Diversity, Equity, Inclusion, and Belonging Committee, DEIB. And that leadership team will kind of facilitate this work across our district. Moving into next year, you'll see some training on anti-bias training. Okay, so they'll work with our teachers on that and perhaps professional development days. We'll make that plan to approve this.
Did you say 3-year plan?
Yes.
What does it look? What would the result look like that we would want to see?
Number one, you'll know that all of our board policies are up to date and current with through an equity lens, right? And so that we are meeting that. You'll likely see a new curriculum adoption for some sort of anti-bias for students that we use K through 12. Okay, so we're looking for outside expertise to help us guide us in that process as well. And you'll see some training for our staff and educators on the topic.
And if I'm a Plymouth Unified School District student, what does it mean for me? I mean, how will it make life better for me?
Yeah, I would think from a student perspective, you will feel safe, inclusive, no matter your background or gender or engaged in your learning that way.
Then you said it was curriculum, so it's going to be a set course, is that just single class, more?
Yeah, that's part of the plan to develop that. And I can't answer that right now. Part of it will be through the work of WestEd, through the work of the leadership team, through the systemic equity review. Whether that is, not likely, of course, we don't, at the high school level, we don't really have a place to add that in. We are doing ethnic studies, which you know from last month. So it could be, lessons done in classroom through tutorial. I don't know the answer to that.
So this is a study to see what opportunities we can to move forward with a possible adding.
Yeah, they'll come out, the team will come out with, and I say that team, including Plymouth Unified, members and staff, if one of you would be interested in serving on that and learning more about it, we'd welcome you to be a part of that as well.
I think the proposed project timeline and plan really outlines a lot of these questions for us to know really well. I read through this a great deal last night, would like to borrow this and implement it if you need it. So I'm pretty excited about this.
Thanks, Jody, and WestEd, and they're nationwide reputable research think tank, and so maybe we could partner on the work if they're already here in town for us.
Yeah.
So I guess I'm looking for approval of the plan tonight, and then you'll approve contract of contracts on that section of it, so.
I would move to approve the plan.
Thank you.
Second.
First and a second, all of those in favor?
Aye.
It passes.
Thank you, that's it.
Thank you. Superintendent wants to talk about buses?
Yeah, good evening or afternoon. So the first resolution you have, the HVIP is, it's for hybrid vehicles. It's a set aside program from the state, and for us to be able to participate in this program, we have to have a board resolution that we support this work, and we make commitments. Part of what we have to do is we have to send them pictures of an old bus that's that's a big polluter and not efficient, and we have to commit to taking the engine out. I'm actually cutting the frame out of it so the engine can't be reinstalled. A bunch of things we have to do. But by passing this resolution, this is the last step to finalize our funding with the state. And this one secures us $450,000 towards electric bus infrastructure. It's $100,000 towards that, I believe, and then $350,000 towards an electric bus. And electric buses now are on about generation 6. What we have currently, we operate a couple in our district that are generation 1, so the generation 6 much more efficient, much more effective. And they promise us that they will work in the mountains. We're still skeptical, but even if we can get another bus that will work on some of our flatter routes where we can use that, and it allows us to push our diesel buses out into the other communities. So just seeking for approval of this resolution so we can move forward and secure our funding with the state.
Would infrastructure be spread around the county, or would it be?
Well, it would depend. So if we were to, wherever we place the bus, we would do that. So if we did a electric bus in Chester, which remarkably, the route is really pretty flat. Then we could put the bus charging station in where we store the bus at high school. So we have some flexibility where that would go, and it all depends on where we plant that bus. And I've currently got Kyle, I'm evaluating what the best route would be to substitute that.
That 450,000 would only be in one community.
These electric buses are very expensive. Very expensive.
That would be one bus.
Is there an actual hybrid option now? That was not a part of the deal. It was electric or gas only.
Yeah, these are electric, but they call it the hybrid vehicle program, implementation program, but it's not
really a hybrid. Oh.
No, it's not a hybrid. I wish it was. We're asking for a hybrid propane electric. That would be the best.
No,
So,
no, it won't.
But they think
Sorry.
it's great.
so, Mr. Superintendent, I think you have a question.
Sorry, I don't want you to be mad at me. I'm not trying to rain on the parade. I've drove for 24 years, almost 25. Propane is all right. Electric, no. Not because I don't like electric, but they barely do Quincy. You can't run a heater. They go dead. So, and I know this is not us. I know it's more California. The only good buses are the diesel, in my opinion. They're the only ones that get us to trips. You go on a trip, you can't find propane. They stink awful. They give the kids headaches. The electric, I have not only drove around Quincy in the summer, but when I talk to bus drivers, half the time they have to turn the heater off and finish their routes to make it back. So I'm not sure on the hybrid because I haven't drove one. I just want us, we do need new buses. and I know that the government gives you deals on these different ones, but where we live, I don't think they work very good. Propane, we have a hard time when it's cold too, filling up, getting started. I don't wanna see you get rid of a diesel that we can work on.
The diesels we're going to be replacing they're inoperable.
I'm
They're just
hoping
in
if
the
it's the ones we're replacing that they're already done.
Yeah, they are.
Because I don't see an electric one working anywhere.
Our problem
Just-
with the
sorry.
diesel buses is we ordered 2 diesel buses 10, 11 months ago, and they're still in Georgia.
Oh, I'm sure. It's like
So they're
everything.
not doing us any
And
good.
I'm really not trying to be a Debbie Downer. I just want us all to make a good choice because I honestly feel like a lot of California isn't writing this down. Like no one's really talking on this, like electric buses for what we need is not cutting it. At least here, maybe in the valley it is. The propane, same thing, like you go on a trip, you can't find propane to put in it. I don't know. We're kind of in a spot where we don't have very many trip buses. They kind of gotta be the diesel. They kind of gotta be able to get out of the valley. So I just don't want you to waste your money. I want something that's gonna last for the long haul. Sorry.
In talking to the transportation supervisor, he said this is a better option than not having a bus at all. So,
I just don't want to waste your money.
Any other questions from the board?
This is a $450,000 voucher program. And is there a match that we have to provide?
basically, we covered the difference between, so we'd get a bus for ballpark, probably about 50 grand out of pocket when it's done. So, diesel's about 250K a piece. And like I said, we're still waiting. And we call, and they said, well, they're coming. Well, we need them from Georgia. So,
Fly me back, I'll
And then these ones are available now.
these are available on the ready because they're,
Part of the program.
this is what, as you said, this is what the state's pushing on us. We pushed back as county superintendents, we pushed back as district superintendents. So you need to give us these incentive programs for diesel, and instead they don't comply with the clean air requirements, and so that's, and it's coming, we're a little over a decade where they're saying that electric buses are gonna be 100% electric in the state. That's not a good thing, not for us. So seeking approval of the resolution so that we can move forward and pursue this. Right now, we have nothing but just people time into this, not committed to anything, even if we pass.
Looking for approval of resolution 1643.
I'll move to approve.
Second.
This is a roll call vote.
Edmund.
Aye.
Klein.
Aye.
Harrison.
Aye.
Kelly.
Aye. Thank you very much. Okay. Next item.
All right. So we have the Plymouth Charter School, IDA MOU with PUSD. This is the foundational work that we started nearly a year ago. And this MOU that I'm asking you to approve outlines the agreements for programs that, Brian and Talitha and I hammered out, and really finalized over the summer. And so I'm asking for approval, and the next 3 agenda items will be in regards to this. And what I'd like to tell you is that in February, the charter school approved all of these, which was our agreement, that, we would work out the differences, they would approve, and then we would approve. So this MOU outlines the scope of program for both schools and some foundational beliefs between us. So asking for approval on the MOU between PUSD and PCS IBA for the operation of schools in Indian Valley.
All this has been vetted by attorneys, correct?
Yes.
Second.
First and second, any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. The next is the Plymouth Charter School material revision. Based on what the MOU was and the scope of operation for the charter school, we asked them to revise their MOU. By revising their MOU, that not only protects them, but it also protects us as a district as an agreement into how we're going to operate. And it's just another layer of basically contract in which we enter into to make sure that we are holding each other accountable for our responsibilities and how we serve the children in this valley. They made the charter school, and I really want to thank Brian for his work on this. They really took some big steps in getting to revising the charter petition. And so we did a material revision. There's two documents that were attached to this. One is the entire charter, which we vetted against the shorter version, which just shows the only affected areas, and they match. And so everything is in there is what we asked for, and we're very comfortable with this, and we appreciate their work in doing this so we can best serve the children in the valley. So asking for approval of the charter, the material revision of the Plymouth Charter School. Charter.
Make a motion to approve. Second.
There's a first and a second, all of those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Passes. And the next part of the actual lease is that.
Yes, sir. So we'll transition over into facilities. This third document is the lease. And what this does is as of July 1st this year, turns over the high school facilities, including the gym and classroom wings, basically everything except for the shop at this point, to the charter school. There's a lease agreement, has a flat rate for charter school contribution every year, and then it increases for inflation every year. That's being paid for out of the PG&E fund settlement. We presented the charter school with multiple options. This is all stuff you've heard, but with multiple options so that they could plan fiscally, but as a district, we're insulated financially, but still making it so that the charter school can offer a great program to the grades 7 through 12. In this lease is where we outline protections of the history of this school, which we don't take lightly. 110 plus years of serving this valley. And the tradition, I saw the logo, sweet. What you're gonna see come out really ties together what the charter does as well as the history of the school. Very impressed with that work. So this is an 8-year lease at the request of the charter school. And what this does is this gives community a chance to rebuild, gives a viable option so when people want to come and look at where am I moving to, that they've got a good high school program. We're gonna have a great elementary program too. We're investing in that so that that our kids TK through 12 in this valley are all served well. And that's the overall goal of this whole deal. And so this is for the facility, and we're already taking inventory, and we will be ready to give them the keys on July 1st. So looking for approval of this. And again, this lease agreement was crafted by our attorneys, vetted by their attorneys, and then any changes went back to them. And this is what I've shared with you has been the final version all along. So looking for approval.
Can I ask a quick question?
Sure.
So I'm not an attorney, so a lot of this I probably don't understand, but under permitted use, it talks about that nothing will be happening here that isn't consistent with running a school program. But there's a lot of community events that happen here too. And I didn't see where it talked about subletting or any of that stuff. Will those events still be able to occur
Yes.
here without rent?
Yes, so they will actually do their facility use agreement with the district. And then we will, we'll work with the charter school, make sure there's no conflict. But they have to, because we still own the building, it's our facility, we have to make sure they get insurance and we have it's different categories of uses. So certain uses like, Dixie Fire, and things like that, they still get to use the facility for free. But, if there's community fundraisers and things like that, depending on where they slot in, then sets the, what kind of fee structure it is.
Okay,
And
that's
it
what I meant.
is super, super inexpensive.
Then I'll move to approve.
Second.
First and a second, any further discussion? One of the things that we should probably point out, is how this works with the elementary school. For those folks that don't know.
Okay, so for the elementary school, we will house the kids here at Greenville Elementary in the same facility, grades TK through 6. Part of what we talked about was for the students to maximize the charter school program. They really start to get acclimated to that in 7th grade. So that's why we made that cutoff there. We currently have a position open here at Greenville L. And when that's filled, we'll have one teacher per grade level. Special education services, really investing in the program because that's what the community has asked us to do. And if we only have one program to invest in, we can do that on our end. And they can do that on their end instead of us both trying to manage our jelly beans to each do 2 programs. So I think what you're going to see at the TK through 6 level is a more robust program than we've offered, since prior to COVID. So we're very excited about that. Good.
You have a first.
I mean, there may be a split class depending on
Maybe.
enrollment. So
Yeah.
just,
The possibility of a split class is there, and it would be a good reason, because enrollment is up. That means people are moving back and you've got littles coming in, because that's the establishment you want. Right now, the goal is one teacher per grade level. So, yes, thank you, Chris.
Okay, we have a first and a second. All of those in favor?
Aye.
Passes.
Okay, one second.
Next up, we have Measure B update.
Measure B, we really have nothing more to report than what we reported at the special board meeting. We're currently getting bids on the projects and what we approved. I think we'll have a robust project list coming to you in April for approval so we can start summer work. There will be, there's 2 things listed on the general fund project list that are completion of existing projects, that those are Measure B. They ended up on the wrong list, but currently on Measure B, we're just moving forward with what we discussed a couple weeks ago. So we can get the bids on the roof and restrooms. We're currently getting a bid. We did asbestos abatement or testing on 8 classrooms at Quincy High School to redo the flooring and the hallways up there. So the work we're going to start this summer is it's going to be all across. So it'll be like bond work 2.0 as we finish up and close it out. So that's Measure B.
General fund.
General fund, we have 3 projects on the list. We have All Phase Landscape, which is installing the sod and providing the sod for the Chester softball. We're gonna put sod down. We're not gonna hydro seed. The difference in price wasn't that much. Our goal is Hooker Crook to have that field playable by the last 2 home games the first week in May. And we are pushing hard on that. And I'm gonna give an update in my superintendent's update on the facilities here at Greenville. Because a lot of our stuff we've already approved in contracts. So we have Joe Branch Electric, doing conduit wiring, et cetera, for an emergency generator. This is a grant that we've worked with PG&E on, and that's going to be here in Greenville. So it'll be an automatic system. As soon as if you experience a power outage or a PG&E safety shutoff, power goes down, generator comes on, powers this entire campus. And what it is not designed for is because we anticipate power shutoffs in the summer. So we have a facility here where we can come in, they can maybe set up cooling stations, they can, keep drinks and things cool and be able to serve the community. And then if we have power outage in the winter, it fires up and it'll fire up the whole facility. And we can use it as a warming station. So it's being done as an emergency operations center for the town of Greenville and the valley here. So we have a grant that basically pays for the generator and the install and the install up to about 75% of it. And in my world, if we can buy really expensive equipment that benefits the school and the community for $25,000-$6,000, we need to do that as long as we can afford it. So that second item is an investment in this community. Third one is all phase Chester Elementary School. This is the landscaping to finish their Measure B renovation and modernization project. We had the bid, it came in right at the end of fall, and we weren't gonna start tearing up lawns and irrigation and that with the ground getting ready to freeze and whatnot. So we have 3 contracts there. I'm looking for approval.
The dollar amount on the PG&E generator is our 25%.
Roughly, yes. This is the bid to do the install. I think it's about an $80,000 generator. Yeah. So, it's a big one. It's 880. It's gonna feed 880 out of it. So, that'll blow your arm off.
That's nice.
So, you're looking for approval? I would, yes, sir.
Move to approve. 1 second.
There's a first and a second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. And now we have the second interim financial report. Valerie.
Just come over here and so I can click my way through the presentation. Thank you for having us tonight. Tonight we are it's information only on the county side. And then for PUSD, there's an action side for you guys to approve our second interim reports. So not much has changed from when I first reported in December, the first interim reports, only slight adjustments. One of them being the arrow in where we are, the time we are reporting on. So this goes from second interim is from July 1st all the way to January 31st. So a snapshot in time. As of this time, we talk about a positive certification that we will be able to meet our financial obligations current year and then the 2 subsequent years. Qualified that we may or may not, and then a negative would be being that we would not meet in current or subsequent years. As of right now, Plumas County Schools, PUSD and PCOE, and I'm assuming PCS, as I haven't seen their financials yet for second interim, will all receive a positive certification. The difference between first and second interim this year was the strategic goals. We had our workshop together and we modified our strategic goals. And so I did highlight today for my portion of this is financial sustainability, to maintain a balanced budget, optimize resource allocation, ensure financial transparency, and commit to long-term sustainability. County side on the a program that we did include that was different than first interim was our first 5 support for early literacy. That was a $10,000 award that they received from PCOE to first 5. Okay, our multi-year projections, you can see that in our current year, our revenues between restricted and restricted are still around the 3 to 3.2 million. In the second year out goes to 1.7 again. It's our spending down your beginning balances and your those one-time funds for the county. And so this year, the county, the net decrease because of the restricted funds, we're looking at 538,000, and then being able to kind of balance back up into the second and the third year out with a positive ending net balance. The county, our economic uncertainty, we still hold at just a nice round number at 800,000. So that's roughly 10.3% of the budget. And then the unrestricted ending fund balance, you'll see the 4 million. So we're still at 82 to 83 and 83 in the subsequent years. Key considerations for PCOE, still not much has changed since first interim.
are spending out our one time and being smart about spending those out and how long we can stretch them for versus this year's students with this year's kids, or this year's money with this year's kids. Okay, I guess PUSD. You can see that in the current year to the subsequent years, what's really impacting PUSD's budget is our restricted funding. Not only the one-time funds, but in restricted is our maintenance, transportation, food service, and special education. And so you can see that although our revenues are holding steady, roughly the same number, again, PUSD, we are at basic A this year and giving up that LCFF entitlement. But our restricted expenditures are outweighing what we're bringing in. So in this year, we have a budgeted net decrease of 1.3. And hopefully by that third year out, we can take a look and analyze a little bit more of what reality is going to look like and how we can reduce that contribution amount. We were at first interim, we had a planned 17% in our reserve, but because of the changes, now we are at 15% of our reserve for 23-24. And then you're going to see a slight increase for next year of 24-25. Mainly that's just because of the planned local tax revenue that we're hoping to get in. And then that third year out, we are at 9.53, but still having conversations right now of what that looks like. And things always do look a lot more bleak in that third year. Same considerations for PUSD. Again, looking at our local tax revenues, and I think as of now, it's pretty safe to say that we are a basic aid difference. I don't see anything changing drastically between second interim and actuals. But then again, also looking at your subsequent years, if the tax revenue will put us back into basic aid. Our retirement incentives, we're still paying on our PARS retirement incentives and ongoing revenue changes. Again, working with the County of Plymouth to make sure that our projections do look like the reality. The one-time shortfall of our COVID relief dollars, those are gone, they're done. Again, trying to be smart is how we are utilizing those to offset some of the costs in the general fund, and UPK planning and implementation. Considerations for future years is enrollment in ADA versus our property tax, our textbook adoption, the economic uncertainties, our OPEB liability, it's there. We have money right now, but again, it's just holding steady. So it's not fluctuating up and down, but making sure that we're checking in with HR and we're checking to make sure that we still have what we need to cover that. And then also maintaining the appropriate staffing levels to ease into the sustainability while addressing the decrease in funding from those one-time monies. Questions?
Regard to basic aid, all of last year we were on the bubble.
Yeah.
We kept trying to figure out which way we were going to go. Are we deep into?
We're deep.
So we're no longer on the bubble. Really?
For us,
No,
This is where we're going to be.
I think for us to go out of basic aid, enrollment would have to go up by 200 students
Okay.
to bring our per student average down to where LCFF
Would kick back in.
Yeah, I mean, and although our tax revenue went up, our enrollment actually went up a little bit, and ADA went up a little bit from first interim. Our unduplicated actually went up as well. So, but still, I believe with the unduplicated and our ADA that I was, and I think I shared this with you at first interim, that I was actually surprised at what our local tax base came in this year.
And duplicated, do you get a bump for each percentage point, or is it go by like 5%?
You have to meet the minimum requirement, I think, of 60%. And we're sitting at 66 for this reporting period.
And then the higher you go, then you get deeper into supplemental and then concentration funds. There's two different tiers above it, and as your number increases, then you get more funding back. And the supplemental and concentration funds are tied directly to our attendance, and so that's why we've got such focus on improving attendance. One, when the kids are here, we can serve them, we can help them, and then two, it ties into the supplemental and concentration, so it's a double benefit.
Okay, I have two questions. Not that it's a contest, but how are we doing versus other counties, Office of Education and school districts with our?
I would say I was very pleased this year to find that we are now in a basic aid district. I think our budget and our reality would be looking a whole lot different if we were still in LCFF.
Yeah.
So compared, I know that I have a few colleagues that I don't envy the conversations that they're having to have with their unions and their cabinet right now, and the members of the community.
So they're having layoffs and we're not.
My second interim budget does not reflect any kind of layoff. However, I think in the second and third year out, there is maybe a little bit of savings in attrition, but no, as of right now, this does not reflect any layoffs.
And second question, about 2 months, the May revise, maybe too early, but do you have any idea of what that might look like?
I don't see much changing with the May revise. You know, I think one of the things that was shocking between first and second, and I say shocking, but in reality, I was maybe, I don't know, a point off, was my COLA. I felt like I was estimating really conservatively at first interim with the COLA, and it was like at, I think, 2%. And then it went down to 0.86. Decided still at second interim, let's have a little bit of faith, and budgeting at 1%. And so that's the only thing that I can really see being a huge change.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
So the first item, the PCOE.
Is information only.
Information only, but we do need approval of the PUSD.
I'll move to approve the second interim financial. Second.
There's a first and there's a second. All of those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes.
Thank you.
And did I give you both pages?
What I'm reading?
No, the resolution.
Yes.
Excellent. Okay. Next up, we have the PCOE and PUSD resolutions honoring Women's History Month, and I've asked Jolene to read it for us.
All right, this is resolution 2324-08. As whereas the Plymouth County Board of Education recognizes the importance of celebrating the contributions that women have made to our nation's history, and whereas March is dedicated as Women in History Month, providing an opportunity to honor the countless women who have shaped our society, culture, and our world. And whereas women have played a vital role in every aspect of American life, from the arts and sciences to politics and business. And whereas the stories of women's achievements often go untold, and Women's History Month provides an opportunity to recognize and celebrate the many diverse and remarkable women who have made a positive impact on our society. Whereas Women's History Month celebrates the many women who have contributed to society in a variety of ways, including but not limited to leaders, inventors, artists, activists, and writers. Whereas Women's History Month provides opportunities for students to learn about the remarkable accomplishments of women throughout history and promote equality and justice for all individuals. Whereas Plymouth County Board of Education recognizes the significant contributions of women to our society and culture, and is committed to educating students about the importance of gender equality and diversity. Now therefore be it resolved that Plymouth County Board of Education acknowledges March as Women in History Month and encourages all schools in the district to celebrate the contributions of women throughout history, encouraging all teachers to use this month as an opportunity to highlight the contributions of women in their respective fields, and to inspire students to pursue their own passions and interests regardless of gender.
Thank you very much. And that's a resolution, so it does require a roll call vote.
I'll move to approve.
Sorry. First and a second.
Klein.
Aye.
Edmund.
Aye.
Harrison.
Aye.
Keller.
Aye.
Reed.
Aye.
Thank you.
So, next item is we have a little superintendent's report, keep this brief. As we reflect on tonight's actions, I want to stress that we do not take these decisions lightly as a board and as a district. We understand the history of GHS in the Valley, and we want to ensure that we have a high school option here for the students and the residents as we continue rebuilding after the district fire. As we transition over to GHS, and this is really funny because I wrote this earlier, I would like to honor Judy Dolphin, who's probably in her kitchen or heading there soon, and as she has been for the last 29 plus years. And so, I'm going to send this to her, but thank you, Judy, for nearly 3 decades of service to the students in Indian Valley. Your impact on them will be forever appreciated. And then I'd like to start by letting the community know a little bit about some things we've got going on out here. The bid package, this has been a very hot item for the concession stand. The bid package is almost finalized, so that project will be going to bid here probably in the next week. We'll put an advertisement in the Mountain Messenger for 10 days, and then we'll review that, we'll award that contract. The goal is to start that concession stand. This is all an insurance project to be completed or to begin in the second half of summer. Try to let the little leaguers and the high school team have their season. It's not a huge project, so they'll give us probably about 3 months to get it built. Should work out. As the ground dries out, we'll also be seeing significant project on the solar panels and that project behind the playground. And then we're also working with Frontier to have that eyesore between the baseball field removed. So hopefully that will be coming out very quickly. As for the softball field, we approved they're going to be bringing in 90 yards of topsoil after they take 4 inches off the top, put down a weed mat, so it'll be safe for the kids. The backstop, it's just got to dry out a little bit more. As soon as it dries out, that contract was signed a couple months ago or a month ago. They're ready to roll. They'll come up here, get that work done. So we'll be turning over a very good softball facility for you. And then tonight, will be the last meeting. They're very valuable PCOE, PUSD employees. I'm covered here. Christy Warren started with her educational path right here at Greenville Elementary School. First week I started, someone showed me a picture of Christy standing here on campus next to Kest. In 2006, she returned to Plumas County after going to school and teaching in the Bay Area. And she came back as a school administrator. And as a school administrator, she served the County Office of Education, PUSD, at nearly every school site. And she's going to be greatly missed. She's been very valuable to me in my transition, but more than that, how she has served this community for 2 decades. Should be known that, if you don't know, Christy is leaving to be back with her family full time. She'll be joining the Contra Costa County Office of Education, which is just a short commute from where her family is relocated to. We wish Christy and her family the very best of luck. We've been fortunate to have had you serving this district for so long. Thank you. Well, that was harder than that. So, thank you, Kristen, for that. Wow. Switch gears. Questions going. Next up, we have policy revisions. Policy revisions, as always, these are provided to us through the CSBA. And these, again, insulate us, make sure that we are current, that we are in compliance with the ever-changing political landscape of California, and that we are insulated from lawsuits the best that we can and how we operate. So I'm asking for approval of these policy changes. I believe we can do them all in one fell swoop.
I'll move to approve as submitted.
Second.
There's a first, and a second, all of those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Passes. Now we have the consent calendar, which includes approval of the minutes from 2 board meetings, starting with the February 14th, 2024 meeting.
One second.
There's a first and a second, all of those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. That passes. The next set of minutes is from the special meeting that was conducted on February 27, 2024.
I'll move to approve.
One second.
There's a first and there's a second, all of those in favor?
Aye.
That passes. PUSD check registers for the month of February 2024.
Move to approve. One second.
There's a first, there's a second, all of those in favor?
Aye.
Passes. Aye. And service contracts included with this agenda.
Okay, so for PCOE, we have the West Ed contract that Christie discussed earlier on. That's information only. That'll be approved. And for PUSD, very quickly, the first one is P&A Administrative Services. And this contract is replacing a company that we use right now that I'm not going to name, but it's very frustrating. And so what this is going to do is this is actually going to better serve our retirees. Right now, our retirees have a terrible time and, getting with the company who's getting they're paying their insurance premiums and things like that. Sometimes checks aren't getting cashed. It's extremely frustrating. And we just said, you know what, the people that have served our district for so long, they deserve better. So we went out, we found this company, they're highly reputable, highly recommended. They came in and literally we paid $4 a retiree per year. And they handle everything and they are highly recommended. So that's this contract here. And it will better serve our retired staff. So that's a nod to them. And then Sherman Garnett and Associates. We're bringing Sherman Garnett in this summer to work with all our administration. He is renowned statewide. He's worked in Plymouth County with us before, quite a few years back. But going through suspension, expulsion, and then how we work with our students with IEPs in terms of suspension and expulsion, to make sure, one, we're treating them equitably, we're treating them properly, and two, that we're not getting ourselves in trouble. It's a great professional development. For the first time, this is the first summer since COVID, he's coming back in person. And he's way better in person than he is on Zoom. So looking for approval of those 2 contracts.
I'll move to approve the contracts as submitted.
Second.
First and a second, all of those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. And we look like we got about 23 field trips coming up.
That's a good thing.
Anything noteworthy we need to know about? They seem self-explanatory.
Yes. Yeah, nothing crazy.
Okay.
Move to approve. I'll second.
First and a second, all of those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And it passes. And we have a donation of a storage container from Greenville Little League for the Greenville Elementary School campus.
I'll move to approve. Thanks. One second.
First and second, all of those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. And at this point, we're going to go into closed session.
Sorry, Jackson.
Do you need a warning for whoever sits here? They're gonna be-
Oh, let me turn it off.
Do you mind?